How's it going? Started to make up some more garden beds in the front yard here, and I ran out of horse manure, so I've started to pilfer the compost piles we have around the place, and I thought I'd just give you a look at how the different compost piles are going. They've been made slightly differently. So this one here below the pigeon pea has been overgrown by some tomatoes. We've got a few different varieties of the yellows. We have some, they look like a mini Roma or a mini egg tomato that's yellow. We also have some tiny cherry red ones, and we also have the ever-present broad ripple yellow currant, small little yellow cherries. So they're sort of taking over this thing at the moment, but there is a compost pile under all of this. There's a couple of weed seeds that are popping up here and there, so I've just been pulling them out and turning them back in. But the compost pile itself, this one here is primarily lawn clippings. This pile was started before we bought the property well over 10 years ago. I've already taken some out. We have about a foot high pile, actually a little bit over a foot high, all the way back there to the base of the pigeon pea trunks. I've been pilfering this and mixing it through the soil, and this stuff is absolutely fantastic. I don't know if you can see right in the center of the shot there's a little yellowish brown thing, a couple to the bottom left. They're actually worm capsules or cocoons, little worm eggs. There's worms all the way through this. I just disturbed this one here, just a little baby, and there was a whole heap over here before when I was just digging through. So this compost here is really rich. The one thing I'm not too happy about is, as you can see from this little chunk over here, we have Cape gooseberry seeds coming through it. We have miscellaneous, I think that's like a dandelion coming up. Pulled there's a bit of a milk thistle thing, and also what we call farmers' friends or cobbler's pegs, because their seeds stick to you. So we've got them all popping up through here. Because of all the weed seeds in it, what I've been doing is adding it to the bottom layers of the wicking beds. That way the seeds won't make it all the way through to the top and end up having these weeds pop up everywhere. Like I said before, this is just lawn clippings and bits of the trees. The only additives that have gone in here was there was a barrel of half composted timber mulch. That went in here. It had some worms in it, and I think that what that's done is pretty much well inoculated the whole pile and started it to break down. It hadn't broke down for years previously. And the other thing I did was over that side there, just around the base of the pigeon pea, I emptied out the flooded black soldier fly farm. I think just inoculating the soil with the worms and the black soldier fly larvae has done this. I mean, this stuff is fantastic. I mean, this was lawn clippings in December, so I'm really stoked. Actually, one thing else I will show you is these little things here, these little pellets. What they are is caterpillar or bug, sorry, not caterpillar, they're bug larvae. Some people call them curl grubs. I think the ones we pretty much will get around here are the what we call Christmas beetles and rhino beetles, and they just go all through here. They're fine to have in your compost. What they're doing is eating old organic matter, and they're turning them into these little pellets of poo. Yeah, look at that. Looks nothing like lawn clippings or leaves or anything like that. So as far as I'm concerned, they're just another one of the things that help break down the organic matter in here. So yes, just thought I'd give you a bit of a quick look at that, and I'll take you down and show you the other one. So this is the other compost I've been using. What it is layers of tree scraps, Chinese elm, which is a weed tree here, and mango. And what I did was run them through the mulcher, just little branches and leaves, and put them in layers along with horse manure. This pile started in January this year, and it's just been sitting here for the last 7 or so months. What we've ended up with is a very nice, light, loose compost. And as you can see, there's not many weeds coming out of it. We have a little stand of alfalfa or lucerne over there. We have a little bit of a milk thistle and some of those cloverish looking weeds that have those little burr seeds. But really not a lot there at all in the way of weed seeds. This stuff here also contains worms. But I've seen a lot more earthworms in this bed than I've seen composting worms. I'm really happy with the way this has gone. It's actually blown me away, and this is pretty much all the mulch I'm using to thin out the soil on the top layers of the wicking beds, mainly because I know there's not going to be a lot of weeds in here. I mean, Look at that, that's awesome. I'm really impressed. And the best bit about all these composting both piles, all I've done is just throw them down there and left them, and nature's done the rest. The bacteria's moved in, the biota, the fungus, they've all moved in and had a go at it. We had mushrooms out of here for a little while, and it's just broken it down really, really nicely. So we also have another stand of Chinese elms growing just there, and all the way down, a bit hard to see through the insect house there, but you can see one just over there. We have them growing again, so what will happen is midsummer, the same thing, I'll chop them down, run them through the mulcher, place them here with a couple of bags of horse manure in layers, and I'll just leave it again, and that way it'll be ready for the spring gardens yet again. So with this stuff here, because there's a lot of the tree trimming still, bits of branches, bits of the timber, a bit just fell apart in my hands, and bits of the timbers, there's still a lot of carbon locked up in there, so I don't want to add too much of that style of stuff to the bed, because what carbon does is it needs nitrogen to break down. So what I've been doing is just running it through a screen, so these larger bits don't go into the soil mix. I actually knocked up a little bit of a screen using a 6mm or 1/4 inch mesh. The other one we have is a 1/2 inch or about a 12mm mesh, and that's the one I use for screening the horse manure. So the reason I wanted a smaller finer grade mesh is I don't want the really large particles. So this stuff here just goes in, break up the larger lumps just with my hands, give it a bit of a shake, just rub through gently. The two lots of products I get is this really nice, rich, half broken down timber mulch. This is just going to go directly on the bed behind the camera with the lavender, rosemary and lime trees and act as the mulch for that one. This stuff here is just going straight into the soil. That's really, really nice looking compost as far as I'm concerned. So there you go, there's a look at the two compost piles we've had cooking down over the last couple of months, and I'm really happy with the way it's worked out. Just using the KISS principle, keeping it simple, and yeah, it's worked out fine. I did a clip at the start of the year, you can check that out up there if you're interested. It was actually supposed to be I was trying to kickstart some mulch to go onto the garden beds back to Eden style, just to get it composted down a bit and then to put it on these garden beds. But looking at how well it's broken down and the fine grain of the compost, or grade of the compost, I'm so impressed with that. I'm just going to screen it out and use that in the soil itself. For the first serious compost, if you can call it that, first serious composting I've done, I'm really impressed with the results. Didn't really turn it, didn't water it as such, just let the rain do it and let nature take its course, and I've ended up with this awesome compost. So I'll pretty much will leave it there. If you do have any comments, questions, suggestions, just drop them in the comment section below and I'll get back to you. Other than that, I hope you all have a great one and have fun composting. Catch ya!